Welcome back, everybody. I promised that I would share with you my screen and some tools and techniques that hopefully will help you. So I'm Shirley Hinton, and I offer project management training for PMP certification and CAPM and some Scrum Master certifications. So welcome, welcome. I wanted to just share with you that Agile is a concept that's useful to everybody, even if you're not a Scrum Master, even if you're not using Agile or some flavor of Agile in your projects, you can actually use it at home. If you make a to-do list, and if you're like me, about the time I start working on one thing, 10 other things pop into my brain. And if I'm not careful, I've got 20 things started and nothing finished. So this is especially helpful if you have children or team members, or maybe you yourself are ADD or ADHD, but anybody can use this technique. If you make a to-do list at the beginning of every day, and however long it might be, you just list things, don't worry about the order, but then prioritize just the top maybe three or four things and write one of those on each of three or four sticky notes. Then what you have is the product backlog, which is your entire to-do list, but then a sprint backlog of three or four items, which are just the things that you're going to do today or do this morning or do until you finish. And those are going to be your highest priority items, and it's just going to make you feel so good to get those done. So then you create a scrum board: to do, doing, and done. And all four things, we'll say four things. All four things are going to start in the to do column, and you only take one at a time. And you move it in the doing column until it's completely finished. And you're going to be tempted to start other things, but no, no, no. You're going to have the self-discipline to say, I'm going to see this through to completion until it's in the done column. Now I can take something else from the to do and put it in the doing. And you do that one by one by one. And when you get all four things accomplished, you celebrate, you reward yourself in some way, you do a little happy dance, you have a piece of chocolate, you watch your favorite TV show, whatever is a reward to you. And if it's a long task, you can even do that anytime you get one thing in the done column. I know parents that use this with their kids with their homework assignments, and it works very well. And there's something very satisfying about putting something in the done column and then moving on to the next thing. If you don't get all four things done by the end of the day or whatever time limit you've given yourself, don't beat yourself up. The whole scrum board gets erased and you just start all over again. So you reprioritize, you go back to your product backlog, you see, are there other things that have popped up now as a higher priority? Somebody's called you and they're coming in 15 minutes, all of a sudden house cleaning becomes a really top priority. That's fine, but you never have more than one thing at a time in the doing until it's done. And then you can move something else over and you keep doing that. And you don't want to look at your whole to-do list. That's very discouraging. So you only take three or four items from the to-do list that are your highest priority items, and that goes on your Scrum board until all of those items are completed, and then you erase the board completely, you start all over again. So I hope that that helps you. I think you'll find that to be a fun little activity. And then that would be from the Agile world. And then the more traditional project management, I'm going to share with you one tool that I know a lot of my students have found very helpful, and I hope that you will as well. I'd love to hear back from you if you've used these tools and how they do help you. Have you ever said, we need more people on this project? And somebody looks at you and goes, well, too bad. I can't give you any more. It sounds like you're just giving your opinion and they have an equally valid opinion, which is too bad, do it anyway. And they treat you sometimes like you have this magic wand and that somehow you'll just magically manage to get it done, which sometimes you do, but only by killing yourself and everybody else. But that's, invisible to everybody. So what should you do instead? Well, when I talk to CEOs, the number one complaint they have is they tell me, Shirley, we didn't hire the managers to tell us what the problems were. We hired them to solve them. That's right. And so whenever you're sharing a challenge, you always want to put it in a chart form, use mathematics, use solid data, and share possible solutions. So a tool that I think you're going to enjoy and probably use on a daily basis from now on is known as a resource histogram. And what you're going to do, you're going to go to your superiors now, and you're never going to say, here's what I need. You're going to say, here's what you need. You start off by saying, I'm concerned that your milestones aren't going to get met. Oh, now you've got their attention. Now you're going to share data. You're going to say, in order for us to stay on schedule, there are 1,000 hours worth of work that we're going to have to do in week 1, 10 people to do it. So each person's going to have to do on average 100 hours worth of work. In week 2, 2,000 hours worth of work that needs to get done. 20 people to do it. Still, each person's going to have to do 100 hours worth of work in week 2. You can do this for week 3, week 4. You can do this all the way through to your whole project is supposed to end. And then you go back and put a line as to what would represent a normal amount of workload that people could get done in a 40-hour work week. Does that get put at 40? No, because people are doing other things during the workday. They're answering phone calls, they're emailing, they might actually be taking a break or two. We never do that, do we? And so you'll set that at whatever is legitimate for your organization. It might be set at 30 hours of project work a week, maybe 32, 35, but that's what that red line is. They can see that as a visual. Now, the next thing you're going to do is share possible solutions. You're going to say, now, one solution is resource leveling. If we could push the work out, but the negative impact of that is going to be increased duration of the project. If we can't take longer on the project, then if you could give me more people, even temporarily borrowed people. Now, if you wait until too late to give me those people, initially, what's that doing to the workload of the people already on the project? Initially, it's actually increasing it. Why? Because people have questions. And who are they going to go to for questions? The people that are already on the project. So make sure that you are, giving them choices. And so week 1, week 2, week 3, you let them know if you could give me more people and bring them on early enough that they could be trained. Now they're actually helping those people. Now you'll share with them one other alternative because it's the one they're always going to want to default to. What if we just expect people to do 100 hours worth of work a week in week 1 and week 2? Well, you'll show them that by about week 4, you have maybe one person left because everybody else is now going to your competitors, or they are uh, in the hospital with a heart attack. So you'll definitely share with them the alternatives, whether they're positive or negative alternatives. And I think you'll find that you get a really good response when you do that. So again, I'd love to hear from you, sph@teachpath.com. I hope this has helped you. Take care and have a wonderful, wonderful week. And we will talk to you soon. Hope to see you in one of my classes.